Hello, welcome to another edition of Only in Illinois, your weekly video recap from Reboot Illinois. I'm Madeline Dubeck, here again with Matt Dietrich, and House Speaker Michael Madigan threw another curveball this week, just after the election, without much fanfare, put out a press release saying that he is proposing a 3% additional tax on millionaires in the state of Illinois that would be directed toward per pupil spending for education.
For Illinois taxpayers that file an Illinois tax return and report an adjusted gross income of over $1 million, that there would be a 3% surcharge put on the money, the income over $1 million.
Fascinating proposal on many fronts, because Bruce Rauner is the Republican nominee for governor. He's been a long time supporter and booster of education and more school choice and charter schools, and he fits the millionaire category.
He would, according to his 2012 tax return, Bruce Rauner would be paying 3% of $52 million. In a surcharge.
Immediately, Republicans and conservatives were up in arms about this because they noted that Madigan's plan is based on a 5% rate for everyone as the base
Correct.
rate, and then an additional 3%. And as we've been saying for a long time now, the current law is that our individual tax rate is supposed to drop to 3.75% in January.
Like the progressive tax movement, this is also a constitutional amendment. So in order to put this into effect, Speaker Madigan will have to get it through his own chamber first, which means he has to have a 3/5 majority, 71 votes. That means every single Democrat in the House would have to vote for this, and then it would go over to the Senate, where it would take another 36 votes to get a 3/5 majority there. If it goes through both chambers, then it gets onto the November ballot where voters would have to approve it. If you think about this, if this gets onto the election ballot, I would have to think it would be pretty much a slam dunk, because as Speaker Madigan pointed out, there are 13,675 millionaires in Illinois.
Right.
And if you put a proposal like this to put another $1 billion a year directly into education, and it's only going to come out of the pockets of millionaires,
Puts a whole lot of people in a very, very sticky situation politically.
right.
Rauner's campaign issued a statement saying that they're happy, Bruce Rauner is happy to pay more to support education, and he's done so personally for years, but he's not happy to give Pat Quinn and Mike Madigan
Correct.
the power to raise taxes on the middle class and more of us.
Speaker Madigan's announcement today also threw a very big and very wet blanket over a big ad campaign that the conservative group, libertarian group Americans for Prosperity was rolling out, aimed at Pat Quinn and aimed at his alleged support for a progressive tax amendment, which Quinn officially hasn't voiced support for that yet. He hasn't also said whether he will keep the current 5% tax rate in effect, or whether he'll try to get that extended.
But didn't Madigan also say that this is not a substitute for a progressive income tax movement that is going on in the state?
If you have 71 people in the House and 36 in the Senate that wish to do that.
Now, the tricky thing politically is it'd be a lot harder to get a progressive tax, number one, through the Illinois House, where we already have one Democrat who said he's not going to vote for it, and that's
Right.
Jack Franks from Marengo. But number two, if you put that in front of voters, there's a lot of different ways to spin the progressive tax. That one side says it's going to lower taxes for most people, the other side says it's going to raise taxes. There's a lot of tug of war, a lot of back and forth you can have on that. On Mike Madigan's bill today, it's pretty straightforward. It's going to apply to millionaires.
Well, if they're in Illinois today, they're probably so much in love with Illinois that they're not going to leave. And they'll be grateful for this opportunity to support lower education.
Not a whole lot of room for spin on that one.
Right. So another example, as we pointed out earlier this week, of some class warfare going on here.
Correct.
All right, that's it for this week. Stay tuned, because you never know what's going to happen only in Illinois.